I bought from the Osprey people the complete history of the Nazi base on the moon. This has got it all, man. From 1945 to now.
That's why they had to fake the moon landing.
That's why they faked the moon landing. It's in there.
Like I said, will I actually get in an aircraft or a spacecraft?
And then I bought this from Rubicon Models, which is a very fine model company. They make vehicles for 1/56 scale, which is the size of the 28mm War Games figures that are very popular. And they do a very good job. I brought in my 1/72 scale SdkfZ 250 so you can see the difference in size. And it's substantial.
Well, yeah, you said 28mm. What did you say the scale was?
They call it 1/56 now. I've seen it called everything from 1/49th to 1/64th.
Yeah. 1/64th is what I usually use if I don't use 28mm. That's why I was wondering. Ooh, sorry.
That's what they call. They've decided 1/56th now. I don't know who decided.
Dude, that's way too small to be a Warhammer character.
That's pretty good detail.
Oh, there's another one in there.
Yeah.
Oh, there's one in there too. But
oh, okay.
They make this one. This one only has two versions. You can make the artillery observer version by putting this hatch on it, or you can make the regular infantry carrier.
Leave it open.
You can open it if you want to.
No, I'm trying to figure out a Warhammer figure going in there.
Yeah, Warhammer figures are supposed to fit in there. I also found out something about Warhammer figures. They talk about heroic scale.
Right.
Heroic scale is bigger heads and bigger hands and slightly bigger figures.
Genetics.
Oh, like Mark.
Yeah.
Well, no, they have and I can't remember the race. It's called Kadakians or Kathathians. It's like the infantry soldiers.
Kardashians.
Yeah, kind of, sort of.
But anyway, I've been painting a bunch of these things because I can't see to paint real figures anymore. And you don't have to paint eyes if you paint these little guys. And so I have a Space Marine with a head, and I have a Space Marine without a head, two Space Marines without heads, because I haven't done the heads yet.
Using acrylics?
Yeah, I got these little figures from a guy in Poland.
Goblins.
Goblins.
Of some kind.
Iron Reich goblins. They're goblins in World War II. They're World War II German goblins. They also make World War II German orcs, but I didn't get any of them. They were more expensive, and I didn't know what his stuff looked like. But I think they're cool.
What are you using for bases? Is that something they give, or?
This is a wheel.
Oh, cool.
Wheel. I was gonna say,
I found that in the hobby shop. These are slices of trees that I found. These were on sale, which is why I bought them.
Right.
This is a base that I bought at the comic book store that comes all put together like that. There's a plastic base that it glues into, but I didn't glue it into that yet.
Did you carve the cracking, or is that natural?
No, the cracking is a Grill and Earth from Games Workshop. The thicker you paint it on, the bigger the cracks are.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. It cracks as it dries.
Cool. That's neat.
And they also make a rust color that's supposed to be Mars Earth. because naturally on Mars you would
of
have
course.
red Earth from the rust.
Well, it's because you had all that water on the planet and the sun dried it out.
Well, let's see. This guy, who is, by the way, on Mars Earth, he is from the Adeptus Mechanicus, the mechanical people. They manufacture their own folks because you really don't need the whole person, you just need their brain. And they're easier to take care of because you can turn them off.
Are you brush painting this?
Huh?
Are you brush painting these?
Yeah.
Are you using Games Workshop paints?
I'm using Games Workshop paints.
I may have to go back to try and find matching military
And I'm trying
colors,
to
because their paints are so nice.
Yeah. This is an Austrian landwehrman. And these Greeks I got from, I forget the name of the company. But anyway, they make decals for the shields, but the decals you don't put on like a regular decal. You put it face down and put water on the back.
And pull it. I've seen that.
And pull it off. Yeah. And they're a bitch to align.
Yeah, I know.
Because you're putting it, you have to cut very close to the pattern and then carefully put it down, because once you put the water on, it ain't moving.
There was a guy that did some Middle East war the same way.
Yeah,
I thought he read the instructions wrong.
Yeah, no, they're
yeah.
Let's see, this is another medieval pikeman.
Dude, that guy went to the
and another pikeman.
Braveheart freaking school of pikes.
Yeah. But
so you start the cavalry.
I've been watching YouTube, and there are several people on there. They start at black and work their way up.
Yep.
And one woman that I watch, who is my hero, she's my greatest painter ever. She's an American that lives in the Netherlands. And she puts like 6 or 8 coats of paint on one of them little dudes on his pants to go from black to whatever. The only color she paints that I don't like is black. And I think she ends up, when she finishes highlighting it, it's way too gray. But any other color she paints is just gorgeous. And when you watch her on YouTube, those 28mm figures are about this tall, because she's got a really close-up camera. And she also paints with a #1 brush or a #2 brush, and it drives me freaking nuts.
You can only, it's got like, what, 3 hairs?
Short trip, right, Lamar?
Huh?
I said, and that's only a short trip, right?
Yeah, a very short trip.
You can look at that fine scale modeler. There's one that does a Civil War figure. You start out with black, and then he goes with lighter shades.
Yeah, and a lot of people do that. It's like the pre-shading of armor vehicles,
And I
but
don't-
it's a technique you have to master. I mean,
Also on the gal's YouTube channel, her boyfriend doesn't paint like she does. He paints different. But he painted there was an SdkfZ 250 War Games model. And he brush painted it all, German yellow, whatever color it is. And then he painted two-thirds of it a slightly darker color, and then painted half of it a slightly darker color. But when it all dried out, and he put the flat varnish on top of it, it was one color that started at the top and just got darker and darker as you went down the vehicle. And as you go around the corner and go, underneath like this, it gets darker still. And I watch them on the video in real time painting this thing, because they didn't speed it up. And it's just one coat of paint. And he uses a bigger brush because he was painting the vehicle.
Right.
But it was just,
I've seen enough of the YouTube videos. It's for the armor vehicles, and aircraft are doing it too. It's called pre-shading. You pick your base color. Yeah, and then make it darker first, and then as you go over the panels or the curves, you start. And that's the hard part. Is I think it's me looking at a vehicle and saying, okay, the sun's hitting right here. What's it going to look like when I start making it lighter?
Right.
And most of mine fall under the Shep Payne's idea of bold is okay.
Yeah.
Not really on an armor vehicle, because it kind of looks like a 2-year-old painting the vehicle if you don't do it right. So
no, it's there are a ton of videos out there on YouTube from people painting figures. Some of them are really good, some of them are really bad. There was one I watched where a guy's painting World War II Russian infantry. And he uses a really almost black, dark, and then he paints over it with a horrible bright green, and then he paints over the top of it with an even brighter bright green, and then he washes the thing with some ugly looking blackish brown color, and when the wash dries, it's a nicely shaded Russian figure.
Yeah.
And it's just these ugly blotches of paint that wash brings together. Couldn't believe it. It was just...
Well, there's guys like, what they're doing now is they paint it black like Will does.
Right.
We're using that NATO black. And then on the bigger panels, they'll go in with the white, to me, white.
Right.
And, and then they'll put a light coat of the vehicle color. So everything shows through it.
And the light is light and the dark is dark, and if it's olive drab, it's olive drab.
And some of those videos made me laugh because the one we always talk about, the guy that does he uses a rattle can black.
Yeah.
And they show
QDC.
And the finished product is absolutely gorgeous, but I know because I've done enough models. If you watch the start of this video, I mean, the paint is dripping off this model. So this is not what ended up as this.
Yeah.
He had 2 or 3 models or something going, but...
Yeah, no, it's... in fact, today on YouTube, I was looking at my California guy, Dr. Faust.
Yeah.
He was reviewing...
His are pretty good.
He was reviewing an airbrush paint filter box thing. But anyway, there was another one that came up of a guy who scratch built his paint filter, and this was cool. He took, the big plastic boxes that nest together. Yeah. 2 boxes. The bottom box he cuts a round hole out of and puts in a bathroom fan.
Yep.
Right.
The next box he cut 9 nice, beautiful squares. This guy cut beautiful squares in the bottom of the box, puts a filter in there and slides the 2 of them together, and says you don't need to glue the filter down because And I thought, what a better way to do it, because those boxes won't bottom out.
Nope.
And then he put a airbrush holder attached to the side of one of his boxes.
And guys will get the LED strip lights and hook them in there too.
Well, he was just using the natural light because it's a clear box. And he says when the inside box gets dirty, just take it out in the backyard and hose it out.
Yep.
Depending on what you're using, or they're not super expensive, so buying another one isn't a bad idea either.
Yep.
But I thought that was, for a do-it-yourself, simple box.
Until I went to try to price bathroom fans. And then some of them where you go, holy cow, it's cheaper just to buy the whole spray kit, the booth, on eBay. It comes portable.
True.
So
well, Dr. Faust, a little portable spray booth he had, and it was, maybe 11 by 17 or something. He said he gave $60 for that.
That's not bad, because mine was almost 200 and something.
It's like about this thick, and it just all folds out.
Yeah, mine's about this thick.
Yeah.
And it's about this wide.
Yeah.
And then you bring out all the plastic arms and stuff
folds out.
And I paid $70 for it.
Yeah.
Including shipping. But then because I was going to build one out of MDF. And I went to Home Depot to look at bathroom fans because they have to be a certain kind of fan that doesn't have a spark in it, right?
Right.
So, and I went, holy crap, they're so expensive. It's cheaper to buy the one made in China.
You probably could have gotten the fan off of eBay for less too, as long as you knew what you were looking for.
Well, my paint booth began life as a cardboard box, and it has a bathroom fan in it that probably sparks like mad, but I've used acrylic paints for years and it hasn't blown up yet. But
I wouldn't even really about firing thinner. I just don't, I've smoked. Of course, this was back in the day, and smoking in a house was okay and all that other stuff, but I smoked when I spray painted, so.
For 20, 30 years, I puffed the pipe while painting.
I know several people that just get a ceiling fan, or not a ceiling fan, but just one of those big breeze box fans, stick it in the window and vent it out and spray away.
Hey, that's how we painted my son's first hot rod in our garage.
Oh, it's
plastic sheet and everything with 2 box fans as the exhaust.
Right.
That's it.
Well, whatever works.
That's right. And then we taped in 2 big filters for furnaces on the other end, so it would draw through without any dust coming in.
You can still smell Steve down the block.
Well, we were wearing respirators. We had to because you're dealing with lacquer paint. Everything was red.
Well, Les Sant, he used to paint in his garage, and he would wash his garage down before he painted to get rid of the dust.
Yeah, you wash it down and you leave water on the floor.
Yeah.
Because it'll track the dust. It'll just grab it.
But he didn't have any fan or anything. He just out there. Of course, he had a clean garage, too.
Well, in the old days, you use heavier lacquer and stuff like that, so it wouldn't attract it. The newer ones are just not as good. So,
I don't know. The new paints are suitably poisonous.
Well, the new paints,
maybe not. I don't
the
know.
newer ones are they're better for you. They're environmentally friendly. They're water soluble now.
They don't cover for shit.
Well, but
friendly and healthy.
yeah, that's right. What do you want them to cover or be earth friendly?
I'd far rather have cover and hazardous to my health.
When I was 18, my buddy painted his Mercury convertible with 26 cans of candy apple red spray paint that he bought at the hardware store because they were doing away with their hot rod section.
Here. How much?